A war is coming. This was not by design. But you are. Your mandate is to protect the system. You will have weapons. You will have skills. You will have enemies.
You know, if I was a developer and I was making a game based on a movie about video games, I would go in saying, I better not fuck this up. But,
and that's really meta. Like, if I were high right now, that would fuck me up, what you just said.
Well, I think they were high when they made this game. I mean, at least according to some of you guys, because I was talking to you guys beforehand. Like, I was hanging out with Professor Jeff last night, and I mentioned the game. I said, Jeff, you're playing Tron, right? He didn't even make a sentence or words. He just sat there like...
The human language cannot express my distaste.
It started sounding like the Hamburglar.
yeah. So, did you like this game? He pulled a hamburger out of his pocket and started eating. But I'm looking at this game, and it is your typical game that's based on a movie tie-in. I mean, and that could either be really terrible or it could just be average or mediocre. What were you going to say?
Licensed properties, man. 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, they're shit.
Yeah.
They're under that deadline to meet the movie, and it just takes so much longer to make a quality game than it does a quality movie.
Yeah, these things are. I can't really blame a developer or. Disney, they're going to get paid. They're going to be like, shit, we're going to make a video game out of every fucking thing that we make. So, yeah, they're going to get their money. But a developer, you can't really blame them sometimes for taking these kind of games because they're cash and grabs. If you're a struggling developer or if you need some money or if you don't want to lay off some people or whatever, these games, they make money off of the title of the film and they got to get the game out with the movie. These developers are under a lot of pressure to make a quick game that will meet that deadline. So I think that's kind of the case that we have here with this game here called not Tron Legacy, but Tron Evolution. Because you see, this is the tie-in between the first Tron and the movie that's coming out.
Are there any Tron fans on this podcast? Are any of you guys hardcore Tron fans?
I love the original. I've still got some of my action figures from the early 80s or whatever, but yeah, I'm just really skeptical about this one, and seems like rightfully so.
I was hoping you could help me out then, Jason, because I saw the film a week ago because I was getting ready for this game and the movie. So I've seen the original, I've finished this game. I still do not know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, well, neither do we.
Okay, so Nick, let me tell you, there are little men that run around inside your computer, okay? This is all science. This is science, okay? And one of them is called Automan. Well, there's an early 80s reference. Yeah, there's another throwback.
I don't know. I think if you ask somebody what the game means, they'll say, it looks cool. Or if they ask them what the movie means, it looks cool. Because that's what I've been telling people who are like, man, we've been getting our asses handed to us because of this fucking movie right here. I mean, I told people I like the movie. And it looks cool though. That's it. It looks cool and it has some cool music. And then they say, "Oh, that's it. You didn't like the movie?" I was like, "No, I like the movie, but can you tell me what it's about?" And they're like, "Yeah." You see, they went back into. Man, fuck you. It's cool. They sit up there. Daft Punk, man. Daft Punk. And it was like, is that okay? That's your argument right there. No, it makes no sense, really. Back in the day, it made no sense. Back in 1982, when the movie came out, people were saying the same thing they're saying today. They were saying the story is weak, but it's a really cool looking movie. But the thing is that back then it was more groundbreaking. Today, we're kind of used to seeing groundbreaking effects, I don't know, every week. So
it's groundbreaking, but I don't know what the story is. I mean, the game starts off with no explanation, saying, the ISOs are being attacked. I'm like, who the fuck are the ISOs? I don't remember any ISOs.
They weren't in the original movie, were they? I don't think.
No.
Greetings, programs. While I am honored to accept this position on this historic occasion, I do it with a heavy heart. For I was to share this honor with Jalen up until his tragic demise. I wish with all my being he could have been here to witness this great moment. However, We must put aside grief. In the wake of loss, we must push forward for progress and embrace this new era of cooperation between ISOs and basics.
Man, look, I don't even know we're trying to get into this story because none of this shit makes sense. Jeff Bridges' character, he's created this other character named Clue who's going to help him create this perfect world. Of course, when Clue hears like, I want to create this perfect world, he's like, well, shit, we got to get rid of all the Jews in this computer first of all. So.
Yeah, but you forgot to explain that Clue is also Jeff Bridges. I nearly had a heart attack because I see two Jeff Bridges and they're dressed exactly the same. They're both got blue lights on them and they both have leather jackets and they're talking to each other. I'm like, what is going on? Who's Flynn? Who's Clue?
Jeff Bridges plays, he's Flynn from the last movie, the first Tron, and he creates this world. Everybody sees him as the creator. So he creates, this simulation of himself in his own image.
Don't the other programs get confused as well? It's like, hey, Flynn. No, I'm Clue. That's Flynn. Oh, hey, Flynn.
You know what, Nick? Let me at this point, let me just say, whatever stories they have going on, I don't care. Because the game don't really play to any of those strengths. I mean, okay, let's just get right down to it. So in the game, as we mentioned, they got this world. Jeff Bridges is, his Jesus image or whatever is going off and running amok and trying to trying to take over the grid, which is in the world inside of this computer. And to do that,
is that like the Matrix? Because don't those have the same definition, really?
Yeah, Tron came first.
Oh, right. That's true.
See, so fuck you.
No, the Matrix. The Matrix is a wholly original piece of fiction and nothing. I'm sorry, I can't even say that with a straight.
So, in the game now, you don't play Flynn or you don't play Clue, any of those people. You play an original character here, if you want to call it that, which is just
original. Yeah, you can say that with a straight face.
Yeah, pretty much you play a guy in a motorcycle outfit.
just a palette strip or a palette swapped enemy. That's all you are. You're just blue instead of red, and that's the only difference.
You're a guy in a leather jacket who never takes off his helmet. But yet in the computer world, you're a systems monitor. So you're trying to assist in, I guess, some sort of small rebellion that's about to happen, and you do this with one of the characters from the movie, who is played by Olivia Wilde, who is hot in real life, just looks fucking scary in the game, but she plays a character named Quora.
Now, Corey's not saying he wouldn't fuck her.
Yeah,
he's just saying she's a little scary looking.
No, I'm trying to build. I'm doing everything to figure out how I can go into my own computer to meet that chick.
Corey's got he's got the speaking spell set up and a laser gun, and he's sitting there going, "De-res me, motherfucker! Come on!"
I'm burning a hole in my chest right now, trying to shoot myself with a laser. I'm beating my head against the keyboard. I know you're in there. Open up.
Opening the box, hoping to see the little tiny digital Olivia Wilde running around.
Every night I come in drunk, yelling at my laptop. Come on, baby, open the door. Let me in. Oh, by the way, people, I didn't tell you who we have here. We have Jason Murphy, the Murph.
Hey.
And we have Kevin Barrett back there. Hello, Kevin. We got, of course, the adorable Nikki Pooh over here.
I prefer the hodgepodge, but okay.
Okay. Sure, we'll take that into consideration. And then we have Professor Jeff over here. Jeff, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah,
good.
As I was saying, you're assisted by this girl Quora, and so you just do...
She's so important. Nothing can ever happen to her.
Yeah, so you just do a bunch of activities in the game to try to fight the Jeff Bridges Clue character and some other enemies that you don't really see in the movie, but for some reason are relevant here. Now, in this game, the gameplay, you'll see if you ever play the game, which I doubt a lot of you will after this review, but it's a combination of now, because you're thinking oh man, not only do I remember the first Tron, but man, I remember the Tron video game where I had to do the light cycle stuff and I was fighting the cyber spiders and Discotron is great, man. I remember that where I did a lot of disc fighting. No, not here you don't. For some reason they decided to make the game more about running up walls and doing parkour type stuff and capoeira.
It's more like Prince of Persia. I think that's the best explanation.
Yeah, see, all they had to do was take a 3D remake of the original. punch up the graphics. That's it.
And see, that's what people are wanting. The things that you want to see. And now I'm strictly talking about single player here. We're getting the multiplayer, but the things that you want to see, like the tank battles and the light cycles, not only do those come in just like a few selected areas. I think there's probably like about 3 light cycle parts in this, and maybe 2 tank battles. But those are not the cool light cycle scenes you see from the movies. No, this is like a racing game. It's just you race down a freeway, you avoid stuff that's falling and explosions, and you just try and it's already a set path for you. So you're just trying to go from point A to point B without dying. And the tank battles, oh man, don't even get me started on that shit. That was the worst part of the game. I spent like about, and maybe it's just me, because Jeff, you said that that was the most fun part of the game for you, were the tank battles.
Yeah, you get to wreak destruction on, at least 6 or 7 guys without having to spend 30 minutes jamming on the X button in order to kill them. You just blast them with the tank, they blow up, you move on, that's it.
See, I just ran over those motherfuckers, man. But probably not even on purpose. Do people now seriously, near the end of the game, I'm probably at the last tank battle. Does anyone remember that scene in Austin Powers where he's in that car, that little cart, and he's trying to he's spending like an hour trying to get out of that hallway? Do you remember that part in Austin Powers?
Yeah.
I spent 30 minutes last night trying to steer that fucking tank out of a circular area. And I'm not lying either. Now, I'll admit, I'm probably just an idiot when it comes to tank controls, but I thought that was horrible. It got to a point, and I'm not lying about this. I ended up having to drive the tank backwards, and I fought my way through whatever area I was in that way, because I was like, I'd be damned if I go back in there and try to straighten this thing out and spend another 30 minutes trying to drive the right way. So this is working for me right now. So yeah, I hated the tank battles, but here's the deal, and I'm going to get everybody else's opinion on this. Here's the deal, and again, this is going to be separate from multiplayer, because I think multiplayer is a totally different experience and a more positive one. But throughout most of the game, I'm not thinking it's terrible, except for the tanks. I'm not thinking it's terrible, but it's just so repetitive. And again, this is typical of movie tie-ins with games. They build a bunch of assets, or they build a bunch of levels, and they kind of design all these characters, and they just start rearranging them. I mean, it got to a point I was doing the same thing over and over again. You have to run up against walls, hop to another wall, climb walls, and you do it in these designated areas by boosting yourself. And that was fine for a little while, but then I just kept doing the same thing, except that the walls were rearranged in a different way. And that
I don't
think boring.
I don't think anybody's gonna even get to the tanks. Like if you buy this game, you're just gonna be like, this game sucks after about 10 minutes. I mean, I made a video of how bad the jumping and falling to your death moments are in this game. I had to record it. I literally put my camera on and filmed 10 minutes of gameplay of watching myself fall to my death over and over again as I tried to progress through this game, because I couldn't believe how bad this game is. I mean, I was so angry at it. I was like, and then I got to that point where the guys changed colors, they were no longer the bad guys suddenly became orange bad guys or something, and I was like, this game is so awful. I was just my mind was melting. I was so angry that I paid money for this. I bought it on the PC. I paid $40 for it online. I thought, wow, I'm getting a discount. I feel robbed. I feel like I just wasted my money. Game was so bad.
Jeff, did you play this on the Xbox or the PS3?
The PS3.
Okay, everybody else played on the PS3. I don't think we had any Xbox players there, but shit, doesn't really matter. Yeah, Jeff, what was your experience with this, with your grumbling ass?
I thought it was just it was horrible. I fell to my death over and over and over again because of just kind of wonky platform mechanics, and it was just super repetitive. I mean, if you looked at this, you'd think the only things that exist in the Tron universe are tanks, light cycles, recognizers, and dudes with discs, and that's literally all there is.
I just want to say the level design is so bad that they give you a button to press that shows you where you're supposed to go, because that's the only way you can go and progress in the game. And that thing lights up, so that's where I'm supposed to go. Let me try that. And then you spend 10 minutes trying to do that. to progress in the game. All right, sorry.
I'm calling bollocks on that because it only works at specific parts of the game. The majority of the game, that I'll press the select button, which has that the light showing you the way, and it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, they stopped doing it after a while. They tell you, it's funny because they say, well, anytime you need help, just press the start button and a ball will show you where to go in the fucking line. It stops after a while. It doesn't happen anymore. So you have to, fortunately at those levels, I think that's their way of saying like, oh, we're going to challenge you now. We're going to make the game a little bit harder. But even then, there's like these little designated points where they show you where to jump. You got little grids on the wall or circles to show you where to go. I'm just
like a big glowing game of hopscotch.
Yeah.
And I disagree. I think that dozy fuckers just forgot, or they were like thinking, oh, no one's going to make it to this point of the
game. Yeah, it's like they're programming. It's like, hey, man, there's a glitch here. That little bouncing ball doesn't show you where to go. Fucking man, they ain't going to go that far anyway. Just
there was no boss fight. There was just a dead end. And it was like under construction. Maybe wait for the patch or, buy a better game.
Yeah,
it has those health, like you re-get, you pick up health and they think, well, how about they get health or energy or whatever it is by running across this one strip on the wall? Like, what? How does that make any sense? Like, that's just like, there's like a control thing that you're supposed to go to, and the only way that you activate that is if you do some sort of like cartwheel flip off the top of it. It's so bad.
Can you imagine the hospitals in that world?
What's that?
No, can you imagine the hospitals in that world? It's like, hey, doctor, man, I got broken legs. Well, you need to do a cartwheel across.
Yeah,
It sounds like their control systems were controlled by the Microsoft Kinect or something.
Well, they are trying to bring in the like the Kinect in the Move to play this game with, I guess with the we call it motion gaming, whatever. Yeah, Nick, you're right though. I mean, it's like if anybody's sick in this world, a girl's bringing her doctor in, it's like, my baby's sick. Well, let's just throw him up against the wall on that stripe right there. There, he's fine now. See, he's okay. But no, you're very right about that because it seems like this game, a lot of things are afterthought. I mean, they really are. Like the whole guiding system, like we said, that just stops after a while. Somebody just said, man, this shit's due tomorrow. We ain't got time to worry about that. And then there are things like RPG elements that they bring in, that they try to introduce. You don't need those. I mean, there's these little stations where you stop. So they tried it, since it's in the computer world of the grid, they try to give you different, I guess, updates. So you can get a different version of yourself, like I guess your system monitor, version 3.0, and you're better than the last version. And so you get like money in the form of megabytes. You stop at these little stations, and you can...
Which aren't these days aren't megabytes worth about as much as a fucking peso?
That's what I'm saying, man. Can I at least get like 1 gig here or something? But yeah, apparently I don't know. Maybe it's because this is the middle point between the last movie and the new movie that they haven't got to that point yet where they got terabyte drives and stuff. But here you stop by, you can use your megabytes to update certain things like your health and your disc for more effective attacks and bombs and things like that and weapons. And it doesn't really matter because you're only going to use them selectively at certain points. You're never going to really think about it. And you'll reach the end of the game without having to upgrade too much. I mean, just doing that, you're just doing it because it's there at a certain point.
Did you guys notice the parts where like it will explain things to you, with words on the screen, and then it won't let you like pass that, like it pauses the game for like a second and says something like, follow the trail or whatever. And then like you have to wait for the other message that says, now press the X button to continue. So like you sit there and you go, you're like if you keep dying, like you have to keep doing that over and over again, and it just pauses there. And it's like, why can't I just press X like right away? Like I've already seen the message, but instead of like it pauses, so I have to wait like 5 seconds between each message. Like I said, I made a video of this game. I'm gonna have to post it up or something.
Really? Because for me, I wish I had that luxury because it would give me hints. And I would read it, and it would be gone before I could read the sentence.
Really? No. Yeah. It just, on the PC version, it just holds it there for a while, and then another message says, now you can press X to continue. Like that, it says press X to continue. But if you press X while that first message is there, you can't continue the game. You just got to sit there and wait for it. It's horrible.
Yeah, because there were plenty of times that I was dying, and there were, and it would give you hints before then. I'll just stop reading them after a point. But because they wouldn't let me finish. It's like, to jump this cliff, I was like, it was like me reading. It's like, to jump this cliff, you need to wait. No, wait a minute, where you going? And it's like, I just had to kind of guess by dying. See, I thought it was me. Because we had that discussion last week of like, what's a gamer? And to me, I thought about it after it was done. It's like, well, a gamer is somebody who should be able to pass a game with some ease because they have a knowledge of what games are like, and they have experience. And with this game made me feel like I just sucked. And I'm thinking like, I hope it's not just me. I hope other people are dying as much as I am, and apparently so. You know why I think we were all dying so much? Because those controls.
Because you couldn't read?
Because I could.
Corey never learned to read.
That's why, because I can never read the hints or the instructions. You be jumping this clip if you. I need to get hooked on phonics and shit. But
sound it out, Corey. Come on.
Man, I'm just up to sweating and shit trying to play this game. But I think the controls are just too sensitive. And they're like a little too twitchy, a little too sensitive. There were points where I'm looking right at the point I'm supposed to jump, and I just ran right past it and jumped off the cliff because the controllers are just, they're a little too, I don't know, a little too oily.
Yeah, and the light cycle sequences were really sluggish. I felt it was totally reversed. That like the character movement felt like it had no weight at all, but then when you're in the light cycle and you try to make a turn, it takes forever to fucking curve around instead of just, I mean, I associate the Tron light cycles with the whole kind of left-right angle thing, and the fact that you've got to make this slow sweeping turn, just, I don't know, didn't like it.
Yeah, I have to say, it's the repetitiveness that really got to me, because I didn't hate the game as much as you guys did. I just thought that I'm doing the same thing over and over again. There was a point where it was getting, the most annoying that it got was right in the middle, and that's where they were just filling in time. I mean, I think that they thought about the ending because that's where the game started to vary a little bit. And of course, when you start the game and you're trying to get familiar with the controls, that's all right too. But there was a point in the middle of the game, and I don't know if you guys had the same experience, but okay, it kept repeating this cycle. You would just jump up some walls, run across some walls, jump on a cliff, and then you get to this level where there'd be some citizens of the grid standing around, and then they would get attacked by the orange guys, and all of a sudden you hear like, ah! And they would take off running, and then you had to fight those guys. Once you beat those guys, you do it right again. Jump, jump, climb, climb, hop, hop, ah! Jump, jump, climb, climb, hop, hop, ah! And it kept doing it over and over again. Now, I had fun fighting the guys. I when it got to like actual combat and disc combat, wasn't great, not even good, but it was a good time waster, I thought. And that's probably at the level I think of the game as, hey, it's nothing I'm rushing home to play. It's nothing that I'm excited about. But, let's just say like your mom or somebody gave it to you for Christmas or you got it for free or whatever. It's like you'll pop it in, you'll play it and be like, it's whatever, I'll beat this in a matter of 6 hours. No big deal. But
it's perfect for snow-ins, I guess. If you're snowed in and you've finished all your other games, might as well, put this on.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. What's that?
I say play one of the other games over again. This thing out the window.
And that's what I was thinking. I was like, if you got really cool parents, then first of all, I'm not going to get you this game, and second of all, they're probably going to get you a lot of games, and this, if they do, this might be one of them, but you're probably going to have some better games. I mean, really, my problem with a game like this is that it does feel so much like this is a product tie-in. I mean, right down to the length of the game. I mean, it's not that long. It's really meant for like smaller, younger game players to play who don't know any better. They love Tron so much and they're just happy to get the game. Or people who just want to waste some time, who either got this at a bargain bin or somebody gave it to them or they're borrowing it from a friend, because you can get to the game really fast. But the repetitive play, the short length of the game, and just the lack of thought that goes into like making at least some of the scenery in this variable, because it's a pretty looking game. I mean, it's shiny, but other than that, you get past that after a while. So the lack of variation in environments is it really sells this game out as like, hey, we got to put this thing out fast for the movie, and it shows. So
what of all of the games you could screw up, why Tron?
Well,
that's like the one sure thing. It's Tron. And yet, God, it's just of anything, any property, any video game you want to mess up. Why that one? Not because it's sacred or anything, but it's like we were saying earlier. It's a video game based on a movie that's about a video game, essentially. So,
okay, well, see, Jason, that's where the multiplayer comes in. And the reason why I'm a little more positive about multiplayer, look, again, it's nothing to go out and buy this game for, but it does give you that experience of Tron that you want.
Okay.
If you go in and you get like some light cycle races, and you get different variations of disc fights, and they're all called grid games. And I mean the disc games, they're okay. I mean they're pretty standard. You run around, you climb stuff, and you shoot at people with your disc. I mean it's just like any other type of shooter in a multiplayer, except with a Tron theme added to it and Tron mechanics. But the light cycle part, I thought that was kind of fun. I mean, it's insane because you can get up to like, what is it, Jeff? Is it like about 10 people that you can like get into a light cycle race with? I mean, after a while, it looks, I don't know, man. It's just like you get all these streams of light everywhere. I mean, it's looking like a parade or something going on, and it's it gets nuts, and it really is challenging with so many different walls of color going around. And the only thing I can say is like that. Even that runs its course after a while because there's not a whole lot of variation on that. I mean, the most variation that you're probably going to get is the number of players that you're going to get in there. I didn't play a whole lot of multiplayer, so I don't know, Jeff. Am I right here?
Well, sort of. People?
Yeah. It wasn't a problem to find a game or anything. It's just as far as the light cycles go, I tried playing it, but I so dislike the way they handle. They're so sluggish that I know you can do in the multiplayer, you can do the kind of 90-degree air brake turns like you can, like in the movie, the first movie. But one of the problems with just conceptually with the light cycle battles is that at any point in time, you can get out of your light cycle. So if you're heading towards a barrier, you're going to crash and you see that it's there, you can just hit this button and the light cycle goes away and then you're just standing around on foot, which... That combined with the fact that the arenas where they put you have so many hills and jumps and ramps and shit like that in it, I think I would have rather just seen, more of a 3-on-3, just straight up like the original movie kind of multiplayer. But that's been done, so I guess there's already so many apps out there that you can play that. I could see that point because I liked it that there was so many people racing at the same time, and I think it's cool that you can jump out your cycle too. I thought that was a lot of fun, and. I mean, because you're gonna crash at some point if you don't do it. I mean, that's the thing. It's with so many people, you're gonna have to jump out of your cycle at some point. But I think you're right. That just
opens it up to jackasses like me who are kamikaze light cycle pilots. You can't really get anyone to run into their walls, so they just smash into people and bail out.
So you just run head on.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't give a fuck. But I mean, it can be overwhelming after a while because there's so many colors. I mean, I was looking at it and there was so many barriers of different colors. I was like, I'm freaking out, man. But the fact that they can just handle so many people on there, I thought was kind of impressive. So I thought, again, the multiplayer bumps it up a little bit for me because that's where it gives you the Tron experience. But I thought, go ahead.
I did think that in the multiplayer, though, that they did a really atrocious job matching you to players of your level. Because the first game that I went into, the level that you have in the single-player game is the same as the multiplayer. So regardless of where you level up, you're the same power both games. But when I first jumped in as a level 1 character, they were putting me in these matches with people who could just, hold their disc up in the air and a fucking aircraft carrier falls on you and the whole screen blows up into a million pieces. And it was just like... You couldn't put me in a game with some other level 1 guys? There aren't any other level 1 guys? Come on.
Well, yeah, I know. Because my whole thought is like, this game just came out Tuesday. How the fuck are these people getting this good?
Yeah.
What I mean? So, yeah, and I didn't even expect for them to do that. I mean, come on. To do like player matching in a game like this, that would take time. And they clearly didn't have that on this game. They had to get this thing out so quick. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm a little more forgiving of the game for the little bit of fun that I did have. And some of the parts where I kept dying, I just thought like, all right, some of it is bad control. Some of it really is just kind of a challenge. I'm going to, because I had that whole attitude like, you ain't going to get me. I'm going to get through this shit. You ain't going to fuck with me, Tron. Yeah, so maybe it was just my tenacity that kind of made me like the game a little bit more. But by all means, people, I mean, I can't disagree with what everybody's saying here. It is not a good game, and I think it's a frustrating game when you get down to it, no matter how challenging I'm trying to make it sound. So at the most, I would say that this is truly a bargain bin game. Anybody else?
I think you should. There was a game that came out 6 years ago called Tron 2.0 or Tron Killer App, which
Was it
actually
that long ago?
Yeah, and which was actually much better. It actually had a really good ratings, but it was mostly ignored by the public. It's not tied into this most recent movie, but I would suggest you save your money and buy that because it's discount and it's going to be way better. I think this game is a rental at best.
Yeah, didn't the success of that Tron 2.0, didn't that the creation of the sequel film actually hinged on how good that game did? They were like Disney was using that as kind of a test.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Disney really pumped up 2.0. Unfortunately, it didn't do so well for them. I have action figures that Disney sent me in the boxes for Disney 2.0, Tron 2.0, and it was under their old Buena Vista game. It's a first-person shooter. It was based on the Lift Tech engine. It was a lot of fun, So if you can find it, though, the original game, it's hard to find. Like on buying it used or something, it's still going to run you like $20.
Kevin, I'll even go a step further and say, back in 1983, there was a game called Disc of Tron that came out, which is very simple. It's a stand-up machine. It's a lot of fun. You are in a disc arena playing against another guy. It's sort of like the frisbee golf, except you're killing people. And that game, is for the simplicity of it, captured the spirit of anything that is Tron more than anything to me. And it's a lot more fun than what I played here.
And better than this game. I agree.
Yeah. Jeff?
I think the game is ambitious. I think that some of the stuff they did was there were interesting concepts that were just very poorly executed. I'd say at this point in the year, there are so many great games that came out this year. Play any one of those if you haven't played and avoid this thing like the plague. Just not worth it.
Wow.
Yeah. Nikki, Hot Podge?
Boy, right. I give it. I'd ask you to borrow it if you kind of have to, and there's nothing around. Mainly because it's repetitive. It's really frustrating with how many times I'm trying to jump onto a ledge and I keep missing it, and I would die 10 times in a row, and that would piss me off. But mainly because this is a Disney game. Why is it such a complicated storyline? I'm 23, and this game is made for kids. Like I asked my little brother to come in here. It's like, do you know what the hell's going on? And he's like, no, I got, and he's like 14. So how the hell is Disney supposed to expect kids to understand what's going on if adults don't?
Well, the thing is, Nick, is that I don't think the people who made the movie or the games knew what the hell was going on either. So I don't think that we could probably be held accountable for that. Look, it's one of those games, and it really is a good-looking game. Propaganda Games are the developers for this, and I have to give them credit for, capturing the feel of Tron very well. Again, though, it's how hard is it to be impressed with something when everything is just shiny? You know what I'm saying? But it's one of those games where it's just kind of like, hey, don't worry about the story. Hey, look, the pretty lights. That's all you got to take a look at.
Yeah.
So.
And the soundtrack. Should we talk about that quickly? The fact that there's no Daft Punk soundtrack.
Well, there are 2 songs from Daft Punk in the game, Derezzed and The Grid, but the music is done by 3 other guys who I don't think had anything to do with the movie. It's an adequate comparison to the Daft Punk score that they did for the movie, but it's adequate. It's just there.
If there's any game that deserves to have like an awesome techno soundtrack, it's this fucking game. Because I was just like, I'll stop this, and I put on my trance anthems from the 90s, like on my iPod, just to play it, and that made it a little bit more bearable, because it's all computerized and digitized, and it's if this had a better soundtrack, then I would have given it a higher rating.
See, Nick, for some reason, I don't know why, but I see you sitting up there with like some glow sticks and a glowing necklace.
Hell yeah.
Pacifier.
Some glowing hot pants on, sitting up there playing this game, dancing.
And you will have allies. Welcome to the Grid program.